What is going on, everybody? It is the Father-Son Fantasy Football Podcast. My name is Justin. My dad, Paul. He's not in the intro or outro again today, but we have an interview today with Coach X, also Xavier Warner, and he's the host of a Top Shelf podcast. Make sure you guys go check his Twitter out in the description below. Give him a follow. Great guy. We had some good talks today. And if you guys are new, Father-Son Fantasy Football Podcast, me and my dad, we banter back and forth, have some good information, good statistics for you. We're not just for like the brand of the Father-Son. We have good information. We believe we're trying to help you guys win our leagues, win your leagues, whatever you got to do, be your friends, neighbors, work employees, and whatnot. So you guys want to try to win your leagues down the stretch. It is going into week 10, so almost to the end of week 16 or even week 17 for the fantasy season. You're going to have to listen, subscribe, make sure you stay updated when we drop our new podcast. We have 3 episodes a week. Waiver wire episode, week in review with trade targets and whatnot. And then the start sit episode with Sam on each week. Today, we did a week 9 review with some trade targets. Before you get into today's episode, if you're tired of getting crushed by the pros, DFS players, and sports bettors, listen up. TheQuantEdge.com has the tools you need to win and play like a pro. So they have a price. They knocked it down $10 already. If you use promo code FSFF, you get an additional $10 off your first month. And there's like 1.5 months for the season, so if you want, you can go get that for the 1 month price. It's not a bad price to help you win some money at DraftKings or FanDuel or whatever other DFS sports betting platform you want. They have a lineup optimizer, injury tool, a wide receiver cornerback matchup tool, head-to-head tool. You're going to be armed with everything you need to win. You can also make up to 150 lineups in seconds, see matchups to exploit, compare players that you're on the fence about to help you make the right decision. You also get access to the articles, industry experts, podcast, and the TQE community. And you get to participate in the premium membership chat, which is very useful. So once again, go over to quantedge.com. Use code FSFF to save today. Let's get into today's interview. There we go.
Now you got college basketball starting. This is a good time of year right now.
Yeah, I'm a UNC fan, and I'm not excited to watch Duke play.
Nah, the Michigan State game's on now, and Kansas is just going to get better. They're so big. They look really good.
Dude, you're a Duke fan. And my dad's a Duke fan.
I am a Duke.
I'm a Duke fan.
No.
I don't like UNC. I don't like any of the big teams. I don't have.
We're going to see how good Duke does with the top 3 prospects this year. We'll see.
If they don't win, that's just embarrassing.
Shouldn't be hard, yeah.
You got Zion.
Hey, everything looks good on paper. You still got to play.
True. They can all ball.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even understand Zion. He's younger than me. He's a year younger than me, and this dude's just 6'8" and just dunks from the free throw line. I wish. I wish. No. All right, and then I'll just intro you in, and then we'll just go from there, I guess. We'll put it in.
That works, man.
And at the end, you can plug all your stuff in that. We'll do the.
Okay.
I'll get all that. You ready, Dad?
I'm ready.
All right, cool. All right, and today we are joined by Coach X, Xavier Warner. What's going on, Coach X?
Nothing much, man. I'm here. Week 10's over. Excited to talk some football. Happy I finally got on. So we're taking good steps right now.
We are taking good steps.
We're happy you're on. We're happy you're joined our show.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Someone not taking good steps, we'll get into this real quick, is AJ Green. He's going to be out for 2 weeks, it looks like, at least. I just traded for him. Not happy about that. But maybe this makes him a buy low if you're already in, like, guaranteed the playoffs. I think it's an interesting buy low candidate right now. Maybe give away some depth and try to get him. But we want to talk about week 9, and we want to talk about moving forward, who to get, who to trade for, and whatnot before our trade deadline approaches. And we're going to start out with the game of the week, and that was the Rams-Saints. Dad, I'll let you take it away with your boy Drew Brees. Our boy Drew Brees.
What a game. He's definitely MVP candidate. I don't think he's going to beat out Mahomes, but what a year he's having. He's back throwing the ball again. They're not running like they did the previous year, so there's great things for the Saints. They look really good. He threw for 346 yards, 4 touchdowns, and he also surprisingly ran for 16 yards, but he also threw 0 interceptions and had 0 sacks. So Drew Brees is looking really good. Kamara in the backfield, they had 82 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns on 19 carries. Ingram turned in a disappointing effort with 9 carries, 33 yards. But overall, the Saints offense is looking really good. The Rams didn't play too bad either behind Golf. He still passed for 391 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Then that trio of wide receivers still look good, but they were just too much for the Saints.
Wait, hold on. How are you just gonna skip over Michael Thomas, dude?
Right? Like, he had an incredible game right there.
How are you gonna skip over Michael Thomas?
He had 12 catches for I think 200 yards and
212 yards.
Yeah,
212. Okay.
15 targets. I think this dude's only hasn't caught, I think 6 passes out of his 50 something. No, I don't even know what targets he has had.
I was gonna let you talk about Thomas.
I'll take it. What's your biggest takeaway from this game, Xavier?
Just I guess from a football stance, not even fantasy football, like this was the new NFL in a nutshell. High scoring offenses, defense still making plays, but it's an offensive game. You can correlate it right to the NBA. The NBA is now offensive game. You got teams scoring 130, 140 points because that's what's more exciting. So when we're sitting back and watching this game from a real football aspect, we see touchdowns left and right. We see a guy going over 200 yards. See both quarterbacks throwing over 300 yards. Alvin Kamara has 3 touchdowns. Todd Gurley was really active in the game. But from a fantasy perspective, seeing all those points scored, it just makes us even more excited every week about watching matchups like this. And come playoffs, a lot of DFS is going to be booming because there's going to be matchups like this. There's going to be, a Vikings matchup in there. There's going to be a Chiefs matchup where they're going to throw for, 300, 400 yards and score 40 points. So I think, my only takeaway, well, not only takeaway, my biggest takeaway is just score more points. Just everyone be good offensively and score points, and we can all just enjoy every game.
Yeah, enjoy it from the football watching perspective, like you said, and also if you have any players in those games, because everyone eats. I guess Cooper Kupp had a good game, Cooks had a good game, Gurley had a bad game, quote unquote, for him, but honestly, good game. Kamara was Kamara, and then Michael Thomas, Drew Brees, and even Jared Goff trying to imitate Drew Brees. I think he threw for more yards, but whatever.
I think a really big, when we're talking about buy low and sell high candidates and stuff like that, the mix between the two is got to be Des Bryant. If reports are true that he's trying out for the Saints, and I just looked on Twitter actually and saw, the Saints may be bringing him in and be working out a deal. He could be a combination of both of those where no one really knows how he's going to be. So you could probably buy him fairly low, but people are going to have high expectations. So you can probably sell him, not high, but you can sell him at a good rate where you get some value back. So I think it's really interesting to monitor that over the next couple of days.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure, absolutely. I think Brandon Marshall they're bringing in too.
Oh my gosh, shit. All the washed up veterans. I'll take it.
Well, at least Brandon Marshall's in football shape. You know what I'm saying? At least he played football this year.
Yeah,
so
right.
we don't know how Dez is going to be.
That is true.
Yeah,
and once again, Michael Thomas just wow. I don't know. He's going to be fine for years, I think, to come.
Don't forget about Watson too, with a tight end zone, because a lot of people are hurting for tight ends. Watson, as old as he is, he still gets it done.
Yep.
Yeah, him and Traquan Smith are the 3A, 3B targets in that offense behind Kamara and Michael Thomas. But I want to go on to another exciting game. You saw the 2 arguably top quarterbacks in the game go off. I don't agree with that, but that's just my opinion. You got Green Bay, New England. You got Rodgers versus Brady, and at the end, of course, Brady wins. But I don't think it's any Aaron Rodgers' fault at all. But what's your takeaways from the New England side of the ball, Xavier?
I mean, I wasn't really impressed with this game. I think a lot of people wanted to see from the 2 GOAT quarterbacks, wanted to see a high scoring game. They want to see what we saw in the Rams Saints game, and both their defenses aren't incredibly good. So it's definitely something we should have saw, but I feel like we were all slighted on the New England side of the ball. James White is involved so much, and obviously Sony Michel's not playing, but I think he's almost matchup proof. I think he's going to get involved. He's going to see targets, and Tom Brady is an exceptional passer. So his ability to be connected with Tom Brady is going to provide him value as an RB2, maybe borderline RB1 in some weeks. I really like Cordarrelle Patterson being used in the backfield. I mean, he's so fast. He's very fast. So if you get a head of steam going on a stretch, which they ran him on a lot. If you watch that game, he's gonna beat that outside defensive end. He's gonna have linebackers chasing him. So I really like what New England's doing without Sony Michel, kind of mixing up stuff.
Yeah,
they said he's gonna be a running back now. Can you tag him as a running back now in your leagues, or what's gonna happen with that?
ESPN.
That's what I said on ESPN. Yeah.
I don't know,
but I didn't see it. It'll probably go through tomorrow.
It's crazy. I mean, this guy's not got a wide receiver, really, so I guess whatever works. Like you said, he is fast, and I called him a return specialist, so there's that. And then Josh Gordon, a.k.a. Randy Moss to some people, went off for his game. He had 5 for 130 and a touchdown. So I guess Randy Moss, I don't really know how to take away from there. He's going to be probably top 24 moving forward. And then you saw
he's too talented, so yeah, he's gonna things are gonna happen. Like he's too talented.
He is a freak athlete. I'll give him that.
He's very talented, but he's no
Randy Moss.
He's no Randy
Moss.
Moss.
We know that.
Yeah, it's all for the jokes, Dad. And then you got other side of the ball, Mike McCarthy, worst coach in football. I think they were at the 2-yard line, and first and second down, they didn't even run it with Aaron Jones. They tried throwing it. This dude needs to get fired. Oh, I don't know. Aaron Jones looked decent too, 5.4 yards per carry. I don't like that stat. 14 for 76, only 14 rushes. I don't get it. But that's not me. And then one of my favorite wide receivers in this game coming up is Marquez Valdes-Scantling. He looks good, and now with Allison, we talked about it yesterday. He had over 80% snap share this game too, so he played more snaps than Randall Cobb. So I think he's a 2 option in the passing game behind Devontae Adams. Who?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go for it.
How much fab would you spend? How much percentage would you spend on MVS? Seeing how you only really have like 6 weeks left, and you're getting down to the nitty gritty.
See, I am the opposite of a conservative fab spender, so I'm spending at least 80% of my budget left on it, just because.
80?
Like, so you have, that's tough to say, because I have like no waiver dollars in any league. So if I'm sitting there with like 12 waiver dollars, I'm putting in at least like 8 waiver dollars.
Yeah.
But if you have like 40 or more, I wouldn't put 30 in. That'd be absurd. But I put like at least 15 in. I do if you have that. But if you have over 50, if you just gotta put in more than the other people have in your league to get them. But I'd do a lot to get this guy in your team because I think he has high flex upside moving forward too.
I agree.
The thing is, even like 2 weeks ago, we said even if you spent all your money, who else could there be on a waiver wire? And every week, there's people that keep coming up. Every single week, it has not been a letdown.
But how often is there like a guy tethered to Aaron Rodgers? That's another thing.
Not very often.
Yeah, that's why I think I'd go almost all. If you're like on the fence about making the playoffs, I'm going all in. I don't want to wait another week to see a waiver gem come up when in reality it's gonna be like Jakeem Grant.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I have like $180 in one of my 5.
Oh, wow.
I think I put like 50 or 60 on them. Like just like
there you go.
Not even because no one else is gonna match that. They're not even gonna think about it. But I'd gladly spend that money because I have 120 left for 6 weeks, and there's not,
Yeah,
I'll make it work.
Definitely safe than sorry. So we're gonna move on to the next game. Next game I want to talk about. It's gonna be. We'll go down the list. We'll go Chargers versus Seattle. Awful. I mean, I guess awful from my perspective, but Philip Rivers didn't have over 300 yards. Russell Wilson didn't have over 300 yards. You saw Chris Carson leave at halftime. Mike Davis, pop or waiver wire pickup, I think we told people to get. And then what are you doing with Doug Baldwin? That's the question I want to know. Some people see him as buy low. Some people are just sick of it. I see him as a potential buy low if the price is right, but I'm probably holding and not selling.
I don't want him on any of my teams, and it's not because he doesn't produce or he's not, whatever. Like I just don't. I think that offense struggles a lot, and as they get deeper into the season, as games start getting a little bit colder, I'm just not going to have a lot of confidence in anyone being tethered to that offense. Like obviously, I love Russell Wilson just because the volume's there. He's gonna throw. He's gonna do a bunch of stuff, but like their skill positions, I'm not really interested in at all.
Yeah, I think their receiving corps originally was Tyler Lockett, but ever since Baldwin came back, it's just been a crapshoot, and he's been thrown to everyone and anyone.
I actually like David Moore in really, really deep leagues. Like if you're playing in dynasty leagues with 12 starters where you have like 3 or 4 flex positions, like stuff like that. Like I really like David Moore. He gets the targets in the red zone. He dropped the ball, or it was broken up, or he dropped it last week. He had 2 targets the week before that. Scored 2 touchdowns in the air in the red zone. So like he's getting that volume in the place where you need it most. And with that offense, I think you could use him as a wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4. For the rest of the way.
Yeah, for sure. And Dad, I'm gonna have you talk about the Chargers side of the ball. What do you guys say about your other favorite quarterback in Philip Rivers?
Well, I mean, Philip Rivers, he looks good. I mean, he only attempted 26 passes this week, and for 226 yards and 2 touchdowns. So it's his 4th straight game under 30 passes. So he got off to a hard start of the season. He's still pretty consistent, and it sure helps when you got Tyrell Williams, who I've been high on since preseason, when all the talk was on the other Williams, who really hasn't done nothing. So, like I said, Tyrell's the guy to own there. He's just so fast. His separation is unbelievable, and Rivers finds him. I mean, Keenan Allen finally had a big showing with 28 yards rushing on 2 carries. How about that? And 124 yards receiving. I mean, so they're mixing it up a little bit. I mean, the Chargers are still looking good, even though it wasn't a big game for Rivers.
Yeah, I agree.
And then I just got a report right now, live on the show, saying Saints and Des Bryant are in negotiations on a deal right now. So
Wow.
Yeah, I just got that. I was about to say the same thing.
There you go, right there. We had the Twitter
Let's see
reports.
what kind of football shape he's in. So you know, the waiver wire, they'll be picking him up tonight.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's that, and then a waiver pickup for you guys still there. And then next game I'll talk about Atlanta versus Washington. I don't know how to take Washington seriously anymore. Like, they look amazing one week, and then this week
everybody was so high on Washington. Everybody was.
They lost Washington.
Washington.
They lost 2 offensive linemen this game, which hurt Peterson.
The best. I'm sorry to cut him, but the best part of this game was when Julio finally got in the end zone. All his teammates ran up to him, congratulating him. I mean, he is the focal point of that whole team. He's such a positive role model for all them guys in the locker room, and to see him score and to see all them guys jump on him was fantastic. Yeah. About time he scored.
It just felt like 4 years. I feel bad for the dude, but it's happened, and now we got to wait another 25 games probably. So I don't know.
Well, you can tell the team's reaction to it. Like, you can tell, he wasn't worried about scoring. Like, I mean, obviously he likes to score. Everyone likes to score, but like, it wasn't like a thing where he was like, guys, I need the ball. Like, I need to score. It was like, I'm doing whatever I can do to put the team in a position to succeed. If I score, I score. Obviously, if he scores, they're probably going to be more successful because they're putting up more points. But you could just tell what type of teammate he is. He's a guy, and all that contract talk that people talk about in the offseason and last year, and saying he just wants his money, he's not going to play. He's kind of shut those rumors down and kind of did the exact opposite of kind of like what Le'Veon Bell is doing or what Odell did last year. So I would want a wide receiver like that on my team. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
And then question for both of you. We'll do redraft perspective first and then dynasty after. But Tevin Coleman, is he a sell right now, or are you holding him?
I'm holding him, dude. That offense is like same thing you said with MVS and Aaron Rodgers and being attached to that Green Bay offense. I want to have so many attachments to this Falcons offense as possible. They have 3 wide receivers that are relevant on a weekly basis. They have 2 running backs that are relevant on a weekly basis. Tevin Coleman's putting up insane numbers, and Ito Smith is doing his best complimentary running back, impression. So I want as many pieces as I can. I think Tevin Coleman in redraft is a absolute keep, and I'll get to dynasty after your dad answers the question.
Let's hear it, Dad.
What?
Buy or sell, or I guess sell or
you're
hold.
Keeping him. You're not selling him.
All right, and then dynasty.
You're not selling him.
I'll have Xavier go first.
Dynasty, I'm on the fence. I mean, if I get a good offer for him, I'm never gonna everyone's up for trade.
That's what I say.
Yeah. Everyone's available. If I don't like your deal, I'm not gonna move a guy just to do a trade. But if someone comes to me like, hey, I want Tevin Coleman, and then multiple first or a big name guy, like, I might think about it. But he's definitely a guy that whether they hold on to Devontae Freeman and they move on from Tevin Coleman, or they move on from Devontae Freeman and keep Tevin Coleman, I think I want all parts of Tevin Coleman.
I think Coleman's going to be going to your Eagles next year. That's my prediction. And
listen, man, I would love that.
I think all Eagles fans would like that. As Giants fans, I would not like going against that twice a year, but I'd like that from a fantasy perspective.
I think he's going to do good no matter where he goes.
Yeah,
I agree.
And then I want to touch on the Cortland Sutton, Jeff, whatever his last name is for the Hireman, and then Emmanuel Sanders. What's going on with Case Keenum this year? Case Keenum, he's having a good stat line for his career, but for fantasy purposes and winning games, he's not getting it done.
It's not just this year. He's not a good quarterback. Last year was an outlier. He was playing with a super elite defense. He had Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs, Kyle Rudolph, Dalvin Cook for the first 4 games, and then a veteran in Latavius Murray and a really good pass-catching back in Jerick McKinnon, which made his life a lot easier. I mean, if you look at these games, like, he wasn't really an elite passer. He had those games where he threw 3 touchdowns or whatever, but like he wasn't a volume passer. So now you take him from that Minnesota Vikings, a perfect situation, and move him to Denver, where Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs, and Kyle Rudolph are better than all 3 of his, Demaryius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, and Hireman, or Jake Butt, whoever his tight end was. And then you take away Latavius Murray and Dalvin Cook and Jerick McKinnon, you give him Phillip Lindsay, who's a rookie, Royce Freeman, who's a rookie, Devontae Booker, who I don't know why he's still on the field. But, so like he's kind of performing how at least I thought he would. Like, I didn't think he would be great. I thought he'd be serviceable, but I didn't think he would be like what he was last year.
Yeah, gotcha. That's kind of the same. I thought he was going to be better than he was right now, but didn't really turn out. I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's no really awful quarterbacks this year you could put in fantasy. I think everyone's putting up like subpar numbers other than the elite ones, but they have their weeks. But this was not one of the weeks you wanted to have Keenum in. And then the one guy you do want to have every week, that's going to be Patrick Mahomes. Doesn't matter who he's going against. It was a bad matchup on paper, but this guy put up his standard 30-plus points a game, I guess. I mean, wow. MVP for sure.
He threw for 375 yards. I mean, come on.
Insane.
3 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's definitely the MVP of the league this year. I mean, I was down on him in preseason. You know that. Like, what was the hype on him? He's only started in 1 game. Well, I'm telling you, I'm a believer now. I know what the hype's all about. He's just got so much poise out there. You see him out there. He's not afraid of nothing. He's not all the stuff he does at the line of scrimmage. He's not afraid of nothing. And hats off to him. He's having an incredible year.
And that's one of the things I talked about in our off-season or preseason, whatever episodes on my podcast was, he has a super elite arm. Like, obviously we know his arm strength is ridiculous. And he has one of the best quarterback-centric coaches in the NFL. So if anyone can get the best out of Patrick Mahomes, it's going to be Andy Reid. It was just, is he going to be turnover prone, or is he going to be able to, be poised, like you said, in the pocket and deliver strikes? And he has, and Andy Reid has made it very easy for him. I think there's a stat where half of his touchdowns, the ball has traveled 5 or less yards. So screen passes, quick out routes, things like that. So his receivers and his pass catchers are doing a lot of the work. I mean, Kareem Hunt just caught a 50-yard screen pass on like the first possession. So that makes him, obviously his yards go 1 for 1, 50 yards and a touchdown, when really, he threw the ball for 5 yards and Kareem Hunt did most of the work. So he's doing what he should do to put himself in position to succeed.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes, he has.
And then Sammy Watkins, I saw a tweet today. It was like Sammy Watkins and Amari Cooper are the same player. I think it's true. They're both they have amazing athletic profiles and good college resumes, and just haven't really been consistent with their production. They'll have like their boom bust weeks, but Amari Cooper did look good. So we're going to talk about the Tennessee Titans and Dallas. And
can I say something on Sammy Watkins really quick?
Yeah,
go for it.
I made a trade today that involved Sammy Watkins. So it's like a salary league, but the salaries are roughly the same. So that wasn't really a big return. So this guy traded me Sammy Watkins and a 2020 first for my Brandon Cooks. I think that I won this trade only because I got the 2020 first. I think Sammy Watkins and Brandon Cooks are very close. If you look at Sammy Watkins' career, he's had new offenses almost every year he's been in the league. So he hasn't had time to really set his feet and get something going. So now he's with Andy Reid, had a full off season, signed him to a multi-year contract. I think he kind of gets back to that form of why he was drafted so highly and why he's a physical freak. So I'm excited to see about it, to be honest.
I was going to say, I have them really close in dynasty rankings. I think I have like Watkins maybe 2 lower, if that. And then you got that 2020, class, which is
it's good. You got that pick. You got that pick with it. I think you won that trade too.
It was offered to me. So I said, all right, cool.
We'll get that. We're going to go. I'll talk about a trade that my dad and I just did in our dynasty league in a second. But Amari Cooper, he looked good. I thought he looked good, I guess, with the routes and stuff. But Dak Prescott, it looked like Dak Prescott with a little bit more zazz, but that team just the play calling, I think, is what's hurting them a lot.
They're terrible. Like, their offensive, they need to get rid of the coaches. I'm sorry,
rid of the coaches, and I don't care if Dallas keeps sucking. I'm okay with it.
We're both fine. I'm perfectly fine. But like, so FanDuel was offering a odds boost in their sports book from plus 290 for Amari Cooper to score a touchdown, and they raised it to plus 400 like 2 hours before, and it was a max $50 bet, and I had the $50 in the bet. All I had to do was press bet, and I chickened out, and I didn't do it. And it happens in the first quarter.
That route he ran was like one of the longest routes I think he ran at the 2-yard line. But since their O-line's so good, of course he got there.
It was stupid. I saw this video today, and it said Amari Cooper generated 5 yards of space on a 5-yard route.
Dude's really talented. I always believed in him, but I don't want to believe him on Dallas. So I'll have to wait to see how that works. And then Deion Lewis, is he a sell for you, or are you holding him? Dad,
I'm holding.
Yeah, holding. I'm holding too. Dad, you're holding.
That's all I'm saying.
You're holding them. Yeah, you're holding them.
There you go.
You can tell they don't even want to use Derrick Henry. Really, I mean, he went from like 14 touches to 12 touches to like 6 or something like that. And like Deion Lewis is going up at all the last 2 weeks. Just keep him and just ride the wave.
The offense isn't fun to watch. Unless you're beating Dallas, then it's fun to watch.
It was fun last night. Yeah, it was fun last night.
That whole division, you don't know anybody can still win that division. That division is so bad. I mean, Washington had everything in their hands, and here they lose, and now it's anybody's game again.
That's what we like. Well, not the Giants. It's not the Giants game.
Giants just
we're not gonna talk about that. I'm so happy not to talk about them this week. Dad, it's fun. And then the guys get to see
you need a quarterback anyway. You're fine with it.
I'm okay with it. And then Detroit, Minnesota. My favorite player, Stephon Diggs, was unable to play per usual. It happens at least once a season, I feel like. But Adam Thielen did not get over 100 yards. That's some big news right there.
No.
However, this game just was not good for fantasy purposes all around. You saw Matthew Stafford throw for under 200 yards. So did Kirk Cousins. 199 for Stafford and 164 for Cousins.
He also got sacked 10 times. 10 times.
I didn't even see that. 10 sacks. Wow. That's not a fun day for him. And then both wide receivers didn't do much because the whole yards were just down. So now I'll talk about that. But I do want to talk about Dalvin Cook. I showed my dad a video earlier. He had that 170-plus yard run that he clocked in the fastest time speed for a ball carrier season at 22.07 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Sheesh. Coming off a hamstring pull, like not even being 100% and be able to do that, I don't understand. But
honestly, I would go buy him in everything you can buy him, and I might slightly overpay for him just because he's not getting any wear and tear this year. Like this is like a pretty much like not a lost year for him in the aspect of touches, but like it's not as relevant. So like he's pretty much a rookie again coming in next year because I don't think they're going to use him an insane amount. They're going to try to use him and Latavius Murray equally, kind of like how the Eagles did last year with their running back core where they're all getting like 10, 15 touches, but they're not getting in that 20, 30 range where they're tired and worn out. So I would go get Dalvin Cook, especially in Dynasty, because he's going to be RB1.
Yeah, I like him moving forward too. And then Kenny Galladay or Marvin Jones for the rest of the season. Xavier, I want to get your thoughts on this. My dad and I are very split.
All right, I want to hear you guys first. I want to see if you guys can sway me.
All right.
Marvin Jones all day.
It's Galladay. I'm just going to say Galladay.
Marvin Jones all day. He's proven it already this year.
Marvin Jones has the red zone work that Galladay doesn't, but I just like the long touchdown potential for Galladay, and I hope earlier season targets come back his way with Golden Tate gone, not going against Minnesota's defense. So this week they got Chicago. That's not fun either, so maybe next week, not this coming week. I think
Justin,
it's close.
Don't hate me, but it is close. It is absolutely like you guys
Marvin Jones.
You guys saying either way, I'm not like, wow, this guy's an idiot. Like, why are you picking him? You know, I can see both sides of the conversation, but I'm personally picking Marvin Jones only because Theo Riddick came back and he saw an insane amount of targets in week 9.
8 targets.
So that's gonna take away from someone's production. I don't know who it is, like it's whatever, but I just think Marvin Jones has been there a little bit longer. He has a little bit more rapport, and he has the jump ball capability that Kenny Galladay just has that straight line speed. So I can see them using him in a more decoy centric role than a pure like they're going to take their shots, but he's not going to see the volume that Marvin Jones is going to see, or even Theo Riddick.
I think both of them can be top 24 rest of the season. It's probably closer to the 24 number than it is 12 number, but we'll see how that goes. The next game I want to talk about, I'm skipping over to Jets Miami because who wants to talk about that? Kenyon Drake didn't do that good. That's all I'm going to say. Let me down. But Tampa Bay, Carolina. I put Cam Newton in DFS, and of course they score, but not with Cam Newton. They used a fullback for their first touchdown. I was like, okay, awesome. Then they used this
which never happens.
Not with that offense. That offense is either McCaffrey, Olsen, or CMC. No, I said McCaffrey. Well, never mind. I mean Newton just running it in, which he did eventually with that little tiny taunt walk. I don't know. I don't understand how he didn't get beat up after that, but he didn't. And then McCaffrey finally back to a good game. I think he had 2 off games in a row. He was back to his 17 carries, 79 yards, and 5 catches for 78 yards and 6 targets. So hopefully that keeps up going forward. And then you saw Olsen. I didn't expect Olsen to do this coming back from injury, especially with the injury he had. He's been having pretty 2 good weeks.
He's caught a touchdown in 3 straight games now since he's been back.
That catch was stupid.
That catch was stupid. Wow. I mean, if you guys haven't seen it, look up Greg Olsen and catch, and it'll probably be the first thing that comes up on Google.
Like taps it to himself and then brings it. It's dumb. Cam Newton's my guy, my favorite player in the NFL.
My dad's not
100%.
I like him.
That's my guy.
He's not my favorite.
I like him on the football field when he if you look at Cam Newton, and I know he does a lot of like antics, and I don't agree. Like I can see why people hate him or don't like him. You know, like I can see it. But when he's playing his best, there's not many quarterbacks I want over him. Like when he's playing his absolute, when he's hot, like in 2015, like he is now, there's not many quarterbacks I really want ahead of him. Like obviously I want, Aaron Rodgers, like those type of guys, but like it's close. It's really close.
Yeah, no.
I'm not a big Cam Newton fan just because of some of the stuff that he does, but he's a talented player. And the best part of him, what I really like, is after every score, they give a football away and he gives a wristband away to the kids. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
If he can do a little bit better in the public eye and the outside, I think he'd be better off. But I mean, he's still a talented player.
I agree. And Christian McCaffrey's my brand guy this year for my podcast. I've been riding him the beginning of the offseason. I was taking him in the early second round before anyone else was.
Wow.
Like before people started doing it later. I was taking him I was going Saquon, Christian McCaffrey, or like Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey, and being elated about it. So I'm happy he's continuing to produce.
There you go. My guy, I guess my dude for this podcast. Dad, you know who it is. It's not Diggs. I'm going to say it's Chris Hogan, and I don't want to talk about that. So we're going to move.
You should have just said it was Diggs.
No, everyone knows it's Diggs, but my guy was really touting really hard was Chris Hogan, and I don't even know who that guy is anymore. So Tampa Bay side of the ball, Fitzpatrick had 4 touchdowns, 10 targets to Mike Evans, only 1 catch for him. Possible buy low, maybe 10 targets. I'll take 10 targets.
Buy low.
Yeah,
buy low.
And then Humphreys just went off. I think it's just an outlier game, just because they were running, I think, 3 wide receiver sets with 2 tight ends. I'm not even sure what they were doing, but they were playing comeback the whole game, and they somehow almost made it.
They're going to do that the rest of the year. I mean, they have no running game when Fitzpatrick is in there. He throws the ball a lot, and he has good stats, so they're always going to be throwing. So hands off to him because he's got 3 guys to throw to, and he does it every game.
When are they going to use Ronald Jones?
Never. Now, 2020,
Never.
Like,
I don't know.
He's shown some bursts when he's been in there.
He has been. He's also with a hamstring injury right now. I think he's out for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Just play him anyway.
I think he's better than Peyton Barber.
Yeah.
Since every game that Fitzpatrick has started, they have no running game whatsoever. They don't even use it.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't understand. I mean, this game they were behind. So
how many rush yards do they have?
I will let you know. I'm right on it.
I don't think it was much.
54, 60.
Doing quick maps.
Like 80, 82.
Yeah, and 23 yards of that was from Fitzpatrick.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not good. It's definitely not fun to watch. It's looking.
No, they use no running game whatsoever.
Speaking of a good.
I mean, when Adam Humphries leads your team in receptions and reception yards and touchdowns, you know that it wasn't probably a good game for your team.
Right? It definitely was not. This one running back who Sam said on our podcast he's going to have an awful week and you wouldn't start him. And Sam's sit was some dude named James Conner.
Wait, that guy?
Sam, if you're listening, Sam, I don't like that at all. 24 for 107 with 9 targets and 7 catches.
I gotta talk to Sam.
Yeah, I gotta text him right now. This is that's just not a good look for him. But Connor continues to be a weekly start every single week. And
yep, he is.
This comes to a trade we just did in our Dynasty League. We got offered.
I
offered not for Connor, for Le'Veon Bell, because I was like, let me buy the hype as low as possible. I offered this dude a 2020 first round pick for Le'Veon Bell. See where that went. Rejected.
Wait, straight up?
Yeah, straight up.
Okay.
He rejected it, and then he sent back Le'Veon Bell, Jalen Richard, and a 4th round pick this year. For a 2nd round pick, 3rd round pick for 2019, and then a 1st round pick for 2020. And I said that I had to accept that. I could.
Wait, what was it? It was Le'Veon, Jalen Richard,
a 4th round pick for a 2nd and 3rd round this year, and then a 1st round in 2020.
Yeah. That's fine, man. Sure.
I mean, I said I don't care about the picks at this point. If you give us
I hate giving up a 1st round pick, but to get Le'Veon Bell, I mean, he's still young. He's going to go somewhere, and he's still going to be a top running back.
If you think about dynasty like that, like he's gonna at least play running back for the next 2 years. So by the time 2020 comes, he's still gonna be one of the elite
top 15
running backs.
Yeah, that's why I don't care where he goes. He's gonna be top 15 probably till 31 years old. He's took this year off, so I get another year on him.
Exactly.
So now we have him, OBJ, and Diggs. Dad, we'd like to see that, but we're not doing good. We're not gonna talk about that league. But Antonio Brown, I didn't realize it until after this week that he's actually leading the league in touchdowns. And he secured another one this game. He had 5 for 42 and 1. And then Juju had 7 for 78. Juju hasn't really done much on the stat sheet, but he's been contributing enough to help him win games. And then I don't know what happened to Joe Flacco this week.
I think Juju's going to be that type of guy in offense where he's going to see volume because people are going to be keyed on Antonio Brown, but his stats aren't going to be as flamboyant as Antonio Brown. Just because Antonio Brown is an elite receiver in our league. Juju Smith-Schuster is very good, but he's going to get a lot of one-on-one coverage. So when Big Ben looks at him, Juju's going to create space and going to be open to be able to provide. But I don't think he's going to have he had a couple crazy weeks in the beginning of the season. I think it was week 1 and week 3 or week 1 and week 2, something like that. I don't see him having absolute crazy weeks from here on out because I think they start focusing on their playoff scheme, and that is heavily involved with Antonio Brown, as you saw what he did in Jacksonville last year after being hurt.
Yeah,
after being hurt the last 3 or 4 weeks of the season.
He's an insane athlete. I'll give
He's unreal.
And the work ethic's also there, so I like to see that.
Yeah.
Baltimore side of the ball. Sam said start John Brown, started a week top 12 or something like that. No.
He was real high on John Brown.
No.
Wait
John Brown is good.
Wait till that podcast on Thursday.
John Brown has done a pretty good job. He's provided some good, wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 numbers against this Pittsburgh defense where you knew it was going to kind of be a shootout-ish. I think that was a good call. I think the process was there. It just didn't. Process was correct.
Yeah, the process was correct, but the results, that offense, I don't know what happened.
Joe Flacco stink. Put in Lamar Jackson, please.
I want to see Lamar Jackson go, but they even said no.
They put him in, but let him throw the ball. Let's see what he does. They just put him in to run the ball. I know. Let him throw the ball.
Yeah, he should have had it. Yeah, that was the one I was talking about. I was watching that on Sunday. Just Joe Flacco and Lamar Jackson. They did like a fake swing route, and then Lamar Jackson had at least 20 feet with separation from any other defender, and Joe Flacco decides to throw it over top of the end zone.
He was jumping up and down like
yeah.
Hey, my guy, I'm over here.
That was like the design. I think that was like the design route to look at too with the sweep, but he didn't even look back that way. I don't. Joe Flacco's got to go to a retirement home. I don't know. He's like 31.
Yeah. Don't worry, he will next year.
All right, what do you think about this? Okay, let's talk some potential trade situation really quick. What do you think about a trade with the Ravens and the Jaguars? Joe Flacco to the Ravens,
Really?
Right? Big arm quarterback, power run scheme, a lot of play action. Joe Flacco's really going to play action. If Leonard Fournette is healthy, they're going to run the ball a lot, obviously, and then the Ravens get to kind of unleash Lamar Jackson. Could be a thing in the offseason.
I'd like to see that. I think that's a good destination. Yeah. I don't know if they're going to go after Nick Foles or Flacco. I mean, it's possible, but
who knows?
The Ravens just love Joe Flacco just because of that one Super Bowl against.
Well, they drafted Jackson for the future. I mean, they paid Flacco all this money to play this year, so I think next year is going to be Jackson's turn. He's going to get a shot. Definitely going to get a shot.
I hope. I really want to see him. So, and then one last game. This game's awful, but the Bears versus the Bills. The Bills Mafia. What's
the Bills are so terrible.
I gotta find
how they win 2 games. How they got a better record than the Giants?
Josh Allen. Because Josh Allen. No,
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen just has to take the ball and just run it.
Oh,
doesn't even care. I don't know. He's insane. But what was the stat? The Bills Mafia, it's win some, lose most. I think that's what they're saying.
That's good.
Win some, lose most. But they definitely, I don't even know. Nothing really went on the offensive side of the ball at all for Chicago, but they had, I think, 2 defensive touchdowns and 1 with Floyd. And then
one thing I want to say about that is people don't freak out and start treating your Bears offensive players. I mean, you had to know this game was going to be a positive game script where it was going to be Jordan Howard heavy. Tariq Cohen wasn't going to be big in the game plan. Trey Burton wasn't going to be big in the game plan. They were just going to let their defense pin their ears back, get turnovers, and they, obviously they got the best possible turnovers you can get in a defensive fumble return for a touchdown, then an interception return for a touchdown. But I mean, they kicked 2 field goals. Jordan Howard ran 2 rushing touchdowns in the first half.
Yeah.
And then Trey Burton had a 2-yard pass from Mr. Trubisky. So towards the end of the game and garbage time. So don't freak out and trade Terry Cohen, trade Trey Burton. Just relax. The season will get tighter. They'll have more close games where they have to throw the ball a little bit more. And those game scripts will affect them positively.
You saying so high on Jordan Howard, though? I'm considering it. If I'm fielding offers at this point.
I think Jordan Howard is a guy where they're not in love with him when the game is close. They like to tailor more to Tariq Cohen. And if you look at their schedule and you think that they're going to have a lot of close games, then Jordan Howard is a guy you want to sell high. And I don't know how high you can sell him, but you can in Dynasty, you could definitely get a 1st-round pick for him for sure.
Yeah.
I think if I had multiple firsts, I would easily give him a first for Jordan Howard. But I have a Jordan Howard a lot of my teams. but he's also my RB3 because I have McCaffrey and Zeke ahead of him. I went really running back heavy this year. So, for me, Jordan Howard is my number 1 flex option. I'll just keep him. Unless someone gives me something I want.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Leonard Fournette to come back for my one running back heavy team. I went Melvin Gordon, Leonard Fournette off the rip.
I like it.
I wish I took McCaffrey over Fournette at this point, but I can say that. That was
Yeah,
that was the
now.
second week of August. That was before the whole hype train of the preseason, so I missed out on that. But
you should have asked me earlier. I would have told you to take him early second. You would have had him.
I know. Damn. Well, now for next year, I won't make these mistakes. This is what's gonna happen. Yeah. But that's gonna do it for a Week 9 review. Thank you for coming on, taking time out of your day to join our little podcast for a little talk about Week 9. And where can people find you on Twitter, and what do you do in the fantasy community?
On Twitter, I'm at Xavier J Warner, all lowercase. Coach X is what I coach baseball, so I coach 3 teams. I work at my full-time job is working at a baseball training facility doing speed and agility, strength conditioning, and I coach the 10, 11, and 16-year-old teams. So I'm on the weekends, I'm always coaching. So that's why I never really talk on Twitter on the weekends because I'm always busy. But you can find me and my podcast and at Top Shelf DFF. I run the podcast with a good friend of mine, Xavier Rodriguez. He's at Sports Savi on Twitter. Our website's Top Shelf DFF. We're at Top Shelf DFF on everything: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. So we didn't put out content since March. We do a mix of everything, so we love it. So definitely take a look at us. And Sam, actually, we talked about Sam a bunch of times. Sam actually comes on and does a start episode with me as well that we release Sunday morning. So we know your guys comes out a little bit earlier, so we try to get it out a little bit later just to get some more information and more news to the people who are listening. So thank you very much for having me, and I appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
So I'll have that link in the description below, so go check that out. Follow him there. Check out the podcast. Check out all the other things he does. Thank you again for coming on. We'll definitely have you back on again, probably in the off season where content's a little more spicy than this later season stuff, but definitely get you back on. Thank you once again.
No problem.
All right, so that's going to do it for today. If you guys are new, please subscribe. If you guys rate the podcast, we'll check you out in the next episode. Helps us out a lot. Make sure you go follow Coach X. He's going to be in the description below once again. Use promo code FSFF over at thequantedge.com. Let me know if you do. You can follow me on Twitter also at JustinFSFF. Closing in on 600 followers. So if you follow me, I'll definitely follow you back. You follow the podcast Twitter too. Just at FatherSonFF. And I say this every time. If you guys aren't on Twitter, please get on Twitter. It's the best place to get all your information and news quicker than any articles or whatnot. I think it's just the way to go. It's the wave. It's the new future. And so if you guys aren't on Twitter, make a Twitter. Follow some of your favorite fantasy analysts and experts, and you guys should maybe even do better than you already are in fantasy. I think it's a big help and one of the most underrated things out there in the industry. So once again, if you guys are new, please subscribe, and we'll be back next time for your Start Sit episode.